podcast. Hello, my friend. Oh, no. What did I just do with this? Hello, my friends. How are we? Back with you. Another week of tech and gaming news. Today, we're gonna talk about Black Ops Cold War. We're gonna talk about the massive Capcom ransomware hack that happened. We're gonna talk about how Cyberpunk on PS4 is gonna come with 2 discs, like back in the old days. We're gonna talk about God of War might be a PS4 or 5 exclusive. We're gonna talk about Twitch's entire DMCA debacle, and in tech, we got new iPhones, we got new Apples, we got new cameras, lots of fun new gear to chat about. Let's get into the show. What's up, my dudes? What's going on? How you guys living? Oh, I don't even have the sound effects on here. Here we go. Oh, never mind.
It's gone pretty decently. I'm trying Stadia live on the interwebs right now.
You gonna play Destiny?
I'm playing Super Hot Mind Control Delete.
Okay.
So I figured, hey, Super Hot's cool, but that's like the perfect game to see how bad the lag is.
True. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was playing Destiny when I don't remember when I was using it. It was like sometime over the summer, I think. And it was okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, if you can afford a console, I can see it being useful. Or, you know, maybe you don't have space for a console. I don't know. Maybe you only have a computer. I can see it being pretty cool. But other than that, it's kind of, it needs a lot of work, especially right now with like what the consoles are doing and with Games Pass. There's a lot of competition. Even like with Apple Arcade, there's a lot of these kind of services going on, so it's going to be in a tough position. Hopefully they keep up with it, though. Hopefully it gets good, because it could be cool.
And there's like a lot Stadia. Of good... Well, I was going to say, even with against Apple, like there's a lot of actually decent Apple Arcade games nowadays.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're amazing, but like there's some that are pretty, for $5 a month, it's actually kind of worth it. Yeah, Stadia just completely flagged up on me and froze, so that's good. It was doing really well, but now it just completely stopped.
I imagine now with Apple's like one service where you just pay the one-time fee for all of their services, maybe that'll give them some extra oomph to do some better arcade stuff. But there's always new games on arcade. Like there's no shortage of games, which is a good thing. Just quality games. It's still like a smaller library, but it's pretty cool.
I guarantee you there's no queue to sit in a direct sale to buy Stadia.
Definitely not. Yeah, I was doing the auto refresh thing too, and for a PS5, I couldn't get one. I gave up.
Yeah, I hear the chime. I get in, out of stock. I go to Twitter and I see Wario tweets out 15 minutes ago, out of stock. I'm like, you got. Should the damn thing when it goes out of stock just chime everyone? And go, yo, you're done. We're out. Get out of here. Stop waiting.
I need to let you guys know that. I mean, if you ever done like the stock drops with like shoes and stuff. You need a bot. Like, you're not going to win against legit bots, and they're very expensive. They're like hundreds of dollars.
Sony's is a bit better because it does have a thing you're supposed to click to say you're not a bot.
Yeah, but I don't know how.
And you're supposed to sign in with your PSN ID in order to buy anything. Like, Walmart's was the worst. Walmart drops were like 5:59, it was working fine. 6 o'clock hits, it starts to slow down. Even if you were able to get it in your cart, the bots crash the site, and by the time it's cleared up, the bots of all hell have the PS5s selling them for $3,000 on eBay.
Yeah, you're not gonna win against the bot. Like a real stock buy is just not gonna happen. So I wouldn't even necessarily try it. The idea is hopefully that there's enough stock that once all the bots get their shit, then there's extra left over that you can hopefully snag in like that 10 seconds that's available. But there's just so much demand. There's so little stock. It's just it's impossible. So I don't want to be like a rain on anyone's parade, but you're just not gonna get one unless you have a bot.
And if
Same with the graphics cards.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All of it. All the stuff.
Sit there and think about buying one of the scalped PS5s, don't, because you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
The reason scalpers can do it is because they know there's going to be somebody to buy them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you have the money, if money's no object to you, then sure, buy it. I mean, it is a market. Like at the secondhand market, it is
I just
it
want to
is
see
what
the guy.
it is.
I just want to see the guy with 25 PS5s
Not sell them.
wind up having to sell them for 200 because he needs to get something back.
Yeah, that's always
Fuck
the
that
risk,
guy.
right?
I'm surprised you guys are actually trying to buy one, if I'm being honest.
I tried
I'm
for like a couple
I'm not
hours.
mad if I don't get. If I get one, it's cool. If not, I don't mind waiting until there's actual exclusive games.
I mean, yeah, like that's my
I
my
will say
thing
the
with it right now.
loading, the loading I've seen, like with from the people I've been watching play Demon Souls or
That's what
play
I want it for. I want
Spider-Man,
Demon Souls.
That
was gonna say-
loading is sick.
No, it's sick, and that's like that was my thinking. Is like there's Demon Souls.
That's about it.
There's
Yeah.
there's a Demon Souls remake and
Spider-Man.
Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you can play on PS4.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
but
can
I'm not even gonna get
arguably
it.
also play Demon Souls.
Oh, true.
You play it on PS3.
Yeah. I definitely want. When I saw the gameplay footage of Demon Souls, I was like, "Fuck, man, that looks awesome!" And then Miles Morales on top of that. So I figured like I've been waiting to get a GPU forever now. That's obviously not happening till next year. So if I can get a PS5 in between, then I'll be.
Time it took was by the time they were back into the game from a crash, not a crash, but from a power outage, I would still be waiting on the PS4 to turn on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty insane, like how quick and powerful these new consoles are. Just everything these days in terms of tech it seems like everything is really powerful, which is awesome to see. It's just, can you get your hands on one anytime soon? Looks like not until next year at least. The holidays seem to be you're gonna be stuffing your stockings with some PS4 stuff, I guess, or some RTX 20s.
I am sitting here like thinking like what like. Guilty Gear's coming out in April, and I'm like, do I want to get it? I mean, by April, I should have a PS5.
Who knows, man?
I mean, I got my new capture card in, which is a AverMedia Live Gamer 4K.
Oh, nice.
I got it because two reasons. My current capture card captures only up to 1080i, so even on a PS4, all my stuff's being captured at 1080i, which just doesn't look good.
No, it looks like shit.
It looks pretty bad. And then the fact that it also can do 4K 60, was it a 1440 at I think like 140 hertz, and then 1080p at like 250 something.
Yeah, it's the best one you can get. Other than
Which is like, okay, that's
the
not
Echo
bad.
one.
I mean, am I gonna use that? Probably not, but the option to have it's nice.
Well, what you can do with it is, I mean, what I do with my 4K 60 Pro is stream. You can stream 1080 and you can also record in 4K. So you have the higher recording, but you can also stream it out at the same time, which is nice. It's just nice to have.
I think that this one has that too.
Yeah,
it's an internal card.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the AverMedia one's really good. The AverMedia one's good too if you ever do like retro stuff.
I have my old AverMedia, which is so the old one I was using, the 1080i one, is a CO27. It's pretty dated. But it's great because it does S-video for older consoles. So Super Nintendo, PS2, you really wouldn't get much out of S-video, but like I would say like early Nintendo, even N64, PS1, if I were to capture those, I can get them in S-video, which is, I like S-video for my older consoles.
Yeah, that's what's cool about the AverMedia stuff.
S-video is actually proper 480p.
It is, yeah, it's great.
Back before when we were actually having to struggle to get proper 480p.
Those were the days. All right. Real quick, let's move to. I just want to touch on Black Ops because I've been ripping through Black Ops, having a good old time with that. If you are someone who likes Call of Duty, it's pretty good. I like the maps. I like Black Ops. I think it's a pretty fun game. But I think the difference is like the last Call of Duty I think was so good that this one just doesn't get up to par with where that's at. And I think that Warzone was far better than what Dirty Bomb is, which is like the new mode in Black Ops. And you kind of have it kind of feels like a step back in those ways. But I do like the Cold War era weapons and stuff. And I haven't played any of the campaign yet, just running through multiplayer. And it's a pretty good time. I mean, let's see. Oh, well, the other thing I want to touch on is performance. This is actually another thing that I don't like about it is it feels like a step back in performance. Now, I don't know if it's just because there's a lot going on and I'm just due for an upgrade on my PC. But a 1080 Ti at 1440p, you can't run it at ultra. You have to run it at like medium low, or you have to drop to 1080p and then turn everything else up. It's just pretty taxing, which sucks because the last Call of Duty was really efficient. It ran beautifully at 1440p, everything cranked up. So it seems like this one was really rushed out, and they're kind of just going off the high of the last Call of Duty, which sucks because the last Black Ops I thought was really good. I thought it was pretty fun. It's just this one, it feels like a pretty big step back. But I do know a lot of the people who like Call of Duty are digging this one, so maybe I'm in the minority on this. Cold War, baby. There's just like the customization in the guns isn't as deep as the last. It just feels like the last one was just far better, honestly. But at the end of the day, it's still Call of Duty. It's a new Call of Duty. It's like Madden at this point. Every year you're gonna get something new, something fresh. They're gonna add a little tweak to it. They're not all tremendously different from each other. It's just do you want new maps? Do you want some slightly new weapons? Then you can get going. The MP5 is complete overkill. Just use an MP5 or the AK and you're good to go. And you can rack up some kills. This is the Dirty Bomb mode. So it's nothing like Warzone. It's almost more like a Battlefield type situation where there's big maps. And the idea is to get like this uranium and then plant these dirty bombs and then protect the dirty bomb as it explodes. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty chaotic, but there's no like, I don't know. It feels like there's no.
Why does that just sound like Counter-Strike?
Dirty bomb?
You plant a bomb and you have to prevent it from, to stop the other team from defusing it.
It's kind of like that.
Counter-Strike.
It's kind of like that. There's respawns and the map is fucking gigantic, but it's kind of like that in the same way. But there's a bunch of bomb sites. There's not just one. But the problem is I don't know. It doesn't feel very tactical. It just kind of feels like it's a good way to just get a ton of kills. There's nothing really. I mean, here you watching me with this fucking helicopter, and I literally rack up like 30 kills with one fucking like 5-minute helicopter ride. And that's kind of what it feels like. So not a big fan of Dirty Bomb, but all the other traditional Call of Duty modes I've been in playing, and I'll probably play some more, and we'll see where that goes. Still seems like a lot of people are still into Warzone, so who knows if if Black Ops ever gets a Warzone mode or a Warzone map. I'm not expecting it, but so far it's okay. It's Call of Duty. All right, you guys play anything new?
Just
I've been playing.
Minecraft.
Yeah, I've been playing Apex, the new season.
Oh, we didn't talk about that last week, did we?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, the new map.
Because it came out on Wednesday. Because their new release schedule is not Tuesday afternoon. It's now Tuesday at like 11 p.m.
Yeah, but didn't it come out 2 weeks ago? I think we missed it last week.
I don't remember. It's interesting. The new character is interesting. I really haven't played much of Horizon. The map I like the map, but the map is
I have some footage here.
sniper hell. Because it's so wide open. And there's just so much flat land. You get vantage on anything. It's just you want to have sniper.
I like the map. I think the map is pretty cool. I don't know if I like the new legend, whatever her name is.
Horizon?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a big fan of her. I like I don't know, I feel like her passive is kind of lame. She just falls better.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I don't get it.
And then her tactical is just like launches you in the air. It's kind of dumb.
It's interesting because it's such a sniper heavy map where having higher vantage is good. So it's that vertical movement it's good, but it's very situational.
What I do like is I like how it's like smaller, but also more open. So there is more. You do have to pay more attention to like where you're at on the map, but you're also going to get into a lot more action. And I also like the fact that they brought the R99 back, because I was not having fun without that gun. That gun's so fucking.
I think
sick.
murders.
It's so sick. And then the Prowler is the drop item, which I'm using here.
I haven't seen it once.
Oh, really?
Haven't seen it at all. I've seen a bunch of Peacekeepers, but never a Prowler.
Yeah, I'm using it in this clip here, and it fucking with this in the R99, it's just a beautiful combo. I like it. I like
Love the
where
Prowler.
I like Apex right now. I like the new map. Now is the old map still available? Because I didn't play any of the old map when I was in Q.
So they've been doing the
This is where I get this win.
no, Kings Canyon's out of queue again, but World's Edge is still in queue for trios and duos. And then at probably the second half split, they'll switch from the new map back to World's Edge for ranked.
Okay.
They always like to put the new map like front and center. So I think the first week it was like locked. That was the only map you could play. And then after a week, I believe it's now in trios, duos. And then if it's like last season, the last couple seasons, they do a map switch in the second half split of the ranked season. I only play ranked, so
Oh really?
yeah, that's all I play is ranked.
There you saw that win. Woo boy. Yeah, I haven't played rank at all actually. Oh Jesus Christ, sorry guys. I was playing Apex when this new season dropped for a little bit. And now there's like a ton of games that I've been playing, like Valhalla and Call of Duty.
I would say they also did the crossplay, so now it's console and PC players in the same lobbies
Yeah.
in Apex.
Oh
Which
yeah, forgot about
I mean,
that.
I guess it makes it for a larger, like quicker matches because there's a larger base now. But as soon as I see that console icon, I'm just like, this is probably a lost cause.
I wonder if there's any like aim assist with the consoles. Because I know Call
I
of
have
Duty
no idea,
has
but
that.
I tried playing it with a controller, and it's not a game that feels good with controller.
No, once you play first person shooter on PC, it's impossible to go
Some
back.
I mean, like Halo is just infused in my brain controller, but
Really?
yeah, it's just one of those games. I tried playing keyboard and mouse, and my brain just doesn't like it. The muscle memory of playing so much controller with Halo will not let me enjoy keyboard and mouse with it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I've still been playing Valhalla, which I've been enjoying. It's kind of like God of War meets fucking Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is actually kind of cool. But all these games, man, it makes me want to upgrade my GPU because I'm like I'm at that point where I'm like pulling graphics down and I don't want to. Like I don't even have the high res pack, the high res texture pack on Call of Duty. I have to run that fucking medium with the texture pack off, which sucks. But first world problems. All right, let's get into news. Let's get into some news here. First off, before we get into news, make sure you head over to our website, nolife.digital. We also have a Twitch channel now. Head over to our website, twitch.tv/nolife_digital. And of course, you can always tune in on YouTube as well. And our Twitter, @nolifedigital. All right. The Pro Bowl is going to be hosted in Madden this year, which I guess this is how they're going to do it. Are they going to have the players play the game, which is kind of what I'm wondering. Like, are they going to play their own characters? Or are they going to have like a Madden? Details are scanned outside of the promise of celebrities, NFL legends, current players, and streamers. So it sounds like it's just going to be some stupid fucking like publicity stunt. Oh, well. Well, there you go.
Welcome to 2020.
Yeah, man. How about that NFC East, man? That's an awesome division, isn't it?
You're 3-7.
Yeah, dude.
Leading Eagles.
With a fourth string quarterback in. Their fucking fourth string quarterback. Still beating the Eagles.
The Cowboys.
Think of it this way. I'm pretty sure the fucking Lions would be leading the NFC East.
What are they?
I
Are they
forget.
3-7? Or
They're
3-8 now?
4-5.
I don't know. Two
All I know is Titans play the Lions later this year.
Barely too good to be worst. So we're fucking up in every way.
And the Titans at 6-3 are currently out of the playoff race.
So are we, but we're not good enough to even be
Surprisingly
mediocre.
enough, though.
But we're not the worst somehow. Because thanks NFC East.
Wait, why would they be out of the playoff race?
There's a bunch of 6-3 teams in the AFC.
Yeah, they're definitely
the
out.
Ravens, The Ravens are 7-2.
Yeah, well, the
And then after
Ravens.
that, you've got the Dolphins, the Raiders. And right now, who else is there in there?
The Dolphins?
The Colts currently have the AFC South, even though we're both 6-3. Yeah, the Dolphins are 6-3.
So what is that?
Why,
So what is
why are
that
we playing football
division?
again?
What is that division in terms of records? Because the Bills are
Bills
doing
are
great.
7-2. The Dolphins are 6-3. The Patriots are like 3-5 or 3-6,
Yeah,
and then
they
the Jets are 0-9.
Yeah, the Jets are the worst team in the league. The Jets
Then you've
are
got this. I mean, and then you've
doo-doo.
got the Chiefs with the Raiders behind them. And like I said, the Raiders are 6-3. In the AFC South, you've got both the Colts and Titans are 6-3, and then the Jags and Texans are literally irrelevant.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, massive Capcom ransomware hack went down. Weren't they asking for like $10 million or something? What was the
They're
ransom?
asking for like some insane, like a huge amount.
Yeah, they do that so they can negotiate down. And normally these companies just take the hit because they really don't give a shit if your information is leaked out there. They go, okay,
Yeah,
just
I guess
leak it. It's not
Capcom
my
said-
credit card.
I guess Capcom said, "Fuck you."
Yeah, I mean, then what are they gonna do? They're gonna pay this money? They're not gonna do that. They're gonna say, all right, take my
So we got-
customers' information. We do not give a shit because obviously they don't give a shit. So why would we pay
A lot
that
of
money?
this stuff too does appear to be from before COVID hit, so plans can change. But some of the crazy things they got, like we'll go in like some source codes got leaked. The Misadventures of Tronbone. There was
Misadventures
another
of what?
source code.
Tron
The
Bone?
Misadventures of Tronbone or Tronbone from the Mega Man Legends series. The
What?
DMC2 source code got leaked.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
the Umbrella Chronicles source code got leaked. Then there was some new games, like a new shooter multiplayer game titled Shield, which was geared towards streamers.
Wait, new multiplayer Resident Evil referred to internally as Project Highway Village Online. It's a battle royale. September 2021. A Resident
Why?
Evil battle royale.
Why?
No, Dust Golem does say that the Highway was the code name for Resident Evil Resistance, so that's a question mark. We're not entirely
okay.
sure on that one.
All right.
There was Resident Evil Village details about an April launch with a demo, so that might get pushed back because if that's before COVID, then that launch might get pushed back. New project named Guillotine for Switch in February, other platforms in May. There was an unannounced project for May with no platforms mentioned. Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2, which are Switch games, coming to PC.
Interesting.
Oh, like
So
those
that
two
would be
Switch
interesting.
ones?
Yeah, the Switch
That would be
Monster
interesting
Hunters would
'cause
be coming to PC as well.
That would
Later.
be weird because those two definitely seem geared towards the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they were not graphics powerhouses or anything like that. They were like looked like good Switch Monster Hunter games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so they were
more of
going to
the
come
old
out.
style of Monster Hunter, like the Game Boy games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were going to come out for later stuff. So like the Rise would come out on October 2021 for PC.
The next year.
So it'd be like a good amount of time after it comes, like a couple months at least, right? Like 6 months, because that isn't Rise coming out in like March?
It says demos for Switch in January and March. That's what it says.
Okay. Then there was some interesting Ace Attorney stuff, an Ace Attorney trilogy plus the DGS games, which never came to the West. Box set for PS4 and Switch Japan only. However, they did have Western localization confirmed for those games. So the big thing with those games, those were 3DS games, and one of the reasons they didn't come to the West is they have the use of the character Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is public domain. However, there are a few stories left in Sherlock Holmes.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Most of it is. However, the Conan Doyle estate kind of suck, and they have been notorious for blocking things that use Sherlock Holmes if it doesn't portray him in a certain way. In the Great Ace Attorney, which is DGS, Garus or whatever it is, but we call it Great Ace Attorney. Sherlock Holmes is kind of an idiot. So in order to get around it, it looks like what they're doing is renaming the character, kind of like what the French author did with Lupin, where they're calling him Herlock Sholmes.
Ah.
And that's how they're going to get around the copyright issue.
Okay, well, they can do that, I guess.
But that's an interesting one because a lot of the time, a lot of us did not think that that was a game they would ever port to the like ever localize. But that apparently is in this leak, as well as Ace Attorney 7. A lot of people have been kind of clamoring for Ace Attorney 7, who are big fans of the series.
By the way, they were demanding 11 million in Bitcoin.
Jesus, in Bitcoin, wow.
Yeah, so like
I think
three Bitcoin.
Yeah. So we got through that. Let's get to the real good shit. Stadia paid Capcom $10 million to put Resident Evil 7 and 8 on the platform. Sony paid $5 million for RE7 VR timed DLC demo exclusivity.
That's awesome.
So Resident Evil made them $15 million off of Sony and Stadia alone.
Off of just
deals.
the exclusivity of their platform alone.
And not even exclusivity. Stadia just paid them to put it on there. It's not even exclusive to them.
Yeah. Well, the other one was, but
yeah, the other one was for timed exclusivity.
Yeah. But I mean, that's fucking.
That's big.
That's awesome. So that just makes you think, like, for a gigantic title, like, how much money do you think Sony or Xbox would put up for like a Cyberpunk exclusive? You know what I mean? Like God of War exclusive, or like it's gotta be in the, you know, 20, 30, 50 million dollar range for just something like that. I mean, that's crazy, the amount of money that they're putting up for this shit. 10 million to go on Stadia.
Google paying 10
on Stadia.
Google's got fuck you money. They can just throw that shit around.
Yeah, that's
they don't
true.
Care,
10 million is like a nickel to them.
Damn.
Yeah,
I mean,
they went to Capcom and went, hey, we want you to put RE7 and 8 on Stadia. And somewhere down the line, somebody went, hey, $10 million. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, yeah, they have that money and they want like that. Okay, I've just stopped playing Stadia. It's getting better. I was just playing Hitman and it actually seemed fine. The graphics suck.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's okay. Like it works. You know what I mean?
It's fine. The issues, there's just nothing on it. So if they actually had stuff on it and more free games, I think people would actually use it.
That's the question, though. It's
also,
like,
if it actually worked on fucking Apple products.
Yeah. Well, that's the question too. It's like, how much money can they spend that would benefit them in terms of subscriptions? Like $100 million on titles, is that enough for them to take the hit on that and then regain that in subscriptions? Because, I mean, like the PR from it has been pretty bad, and I'm just wondering if like we're already seeing the death of Stadia. As like, are they really going to drop that much money on it? Because Google's known to not really do that, but. I mean, we'll see, I guess. We'll see where it pans out. And doesn't Amazon have something coming similar to Stadia?
Yes, they're also making their own Stadia-esque thing. And it's gonna be interesting. I don't think Stadia is necessarily gonna Stadia would be the one to close first because it's Google and they cancel projects like it's crazy.
Yeah.
They're fine spending money. But like it would suck if Stadia closed, I think, because I think there is some potential there, but it's also what interests me about Stadia, and we'll get into this with Amazon making their own, is the one good thing I've found here through all of the Stadia stuff is you can just link your fucking YouTube account and start streaming immediately or recording to a VOD like that.
Yeah, that's
like
pretty
it's
cool.
just a button and it actually works. So that could be very interesting for Twitch and for smaller Twitch streamers to just like, cool, hit the game. If it like it's all Amazon, right? So if they could link it to Twitch, you know, and just goes live on Twitch while you're also playing the game, that could be interesting.
And they're even going to go so far as, at least from what they were saying, where if you are a viewer and you wanted to play with them, there'd be like extensions where you could just press a button and then you just hop right in. And of course, because it's cloud, it's already loaded up and you just get going.
That'll be a little risky. Risky, but I could see features like that being cool too. Yeah, because it would make it easier. Because like,
I mean, that would be awesome. Like Among Us, if there's a great example for something like that.
Because there will be like sub Sundays or sub Saturdays and stuff like that, where you do play with subs. So that could be a cool way to do that instead of actually the current way of like, okay, you got to join my Discord and you get vetted, etc., and then you have to go through 10 steps of connecting to the same server or something. That could maybe make that easier, but I hope it also doesn't make it too easy.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just be able to hit a button and you're magically in the game. You know what I mean?
No, I'm sure there'll be some sort of like granting process. But like, like we watch someone on like playing fighting games. Like I watched some like the ultimate streamers and like just being like, all right, let's go 1v1, and then you could just hop right in. Like that would be pretty cool with certain titles or like racing games where you can just hop in a lineup and start racing. So we'll see. We'll see if that moves that way. Who knows? Because it's like I said, it has been getting hit pretty hard with PR, and they need all the help they can get. 10 million for a couple titles is a good start, but I think they're gonna need to start dropping like upwards of like $100 million for some real titles and like real launch titles, so people can get excited about actually going to the platform and making those features available, because nothing like that's really available other than I guess the streaming stuff.
I mean, they literally just gave me 20 games for free and a month of Pro for free and a controller.
They're just
and
giving
a
it away at
Chromecast
this
for
point.
free. And I'm still not even that excited for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they just gave me basically like $300 worth of games and hardware for this shit, and I'm still sitting here like, I guess I could play Destiny that I already own.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play Hitman. That's probably the only game I'm actually gonna play. Is they have all of Hitman every season, so you can actually play that full game. Like,
And Hitman's dope. Hitman is dope.
Yeah, it is, but it's also like cool, dude. That's the interesting game.
Like for me, I think what would be cool is if it ran on Wi-Fi really well, and you can just whenever you're traveling, you can just play it on your laptop and not have to worry about it. And
Yeah,
that's
if you could
the
have
dream.
that, like,
But it's got to be
free,
cheap too,
Dude, I would prefer it to be cheap, but even if it's not cheap, what they really need, they need WoW. They need like World of Warcraft or like RuneScape or some stupid subscription-based MMO that you're like, okay, cool. I got to go on a work trip, but I can still play WoW. Like if you could tell me I could play WoW on my iPad while I go and visit my family for Christmas, yeah, I'm paying that money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they have
like,
Destiny, but I see what you mean. A few more of those titles.
Like they need to, because that's the hard part of their service is like they have very limited games, and the only way you're gonna be able to get by with limited games is if you have a niche.
Yeah.
So right now they can do ESO, and I'm interested to try that maybe. But like if you could like break into,
Is ESO on there?
yeah, ESO's on there now, I guess.
That's
I'm gonna
pretty
try
cool.
that. Like if you could start like go after the MMOs, go after those games with like core
Long
players that are
service games.
never going to die
Yeah. That would be cool.
and want easier ways to play when they're away from home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because if
for
your
sure.
your entire strategy is like, well, we have Cyberpunk, Sniper Elite 4, Destiny, and
Yeah, you're just gonna like, why did I
Hitman.
play a shittier version of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Plus, like,
Like,
games like
you-
WoW would look good with the limited bit rate. You know what I mean?
Right. So like you could do stuff like that. That would actually be a service I would be interested in paying for. But like Cyberpunk, yeah, I'm gonna buy it, but I can run it on my PC. Like I'm just gonna do that. I'm not like that's
Yeah.
half of the issue is none of those are like games where I'm like, crap, if I'm in a place where I don't have my computer or my normal gaming setups, or if I was too I mean, I could see it if I was too poor for some of my gaming setups, but like the way I'm thinking using Stadia is like, okay, I'm going home for Christmas to visit family
Yeah.
and like stuff like that, and it's like I don't think that works with just a single player game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not gonna go home to my family and just be like, damn man, I'm cheesing to spend an extra $70 so I can play Cyberpunk right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or Hitman.
Yeah, they need a lot. They need a lot of those titles. They need a lot of titles in general too. I mean, it is tough, and they're in the
That
market where there's like 1,000 different game launchers, and it's out of control.
Yeah, that I just more mean like that. I guess you could even expand that to multiplayer games in general. They just need more access to multiplayer, because that's the other thing too that I have the bigger issue is like if I have to wait 2 weeks to play Cyberpunk, I don't give a shit. It's a single player game. I'm not gonna have that experience ruined. But like if I can't play Call of Duty with my friends, you know what I mean? That is something I'm actually missing out on.
Yeah.
So I think it's just they just need to work on like multiplayer games and actually getting them on there. If it's just single player experiences, like
And I wonder
just
if
save
there's
up and
like
buy
a
a
diff-
Xbox Series S.
I
Like,
wonder if there's that much of a different sort of development process for it, because it's essentially just streaming a video file. You know what I mean? Like it's not like these developers have to code it into a completely different architecture or something. It's really just them compacting it and compressing it and shooting out like a low bit rate stream of the game, where the controller talks with the server. So like I'm imagining like I'm wondering why it's been really difficult for them to kind of push off. But I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe they're moving towards that. I just hope they don't kill it, and I hope we see some of a lot of the features that we were looking for in Stadia come out with the Amazon one, with like all that Twitch integration and multiplayer integration, because I think that
Yeah.
would be interesting as well.
well, yeah, because like the YouTube integration's kind of awesome actually, and YouTube's been getting better for streaming as Twitch continues to want to kill themselves. Basically,
We'll get
I guess.
into that. We'll get into that.
But no, I don't know. Like there's a lot they could do. It does really suck now. I would not pay for the service in any way. But like I could see there being a potential, but it really has to be more than just single player experiences. It's getting better at doing that single player experience. Like Hitman, I just played it there for a bit. It felt fine.
Yeah.
At least on a Ethernet cable, you know, it feels like I'm playing it on my computer.
Yeah.
But I don't care. It's Hitman.
All right, Cyberpunk might be coming on 2 discs, requiring 70 gigabytes of space for the PS4. So we're gonna start to see multi-disc games again. This is probably the last multi-disc game
What
ever
was
made.
the last one before this that you remember?
Warzone.
Is it Warzone?
Yeah, I know it's not.
I mean,
I
that
know
was
there's no
multi-disc?
disc for it. There's no disc
Yeah,
for it.
Is that disc?
Halo 4. Halo 4 on 360, I think it was 2 discs.
You're right.
True.
You're right. It was.
I just mean most games.
There was the installation disc and the play disc.
Yeah.
Most games there. I mean, there's definitely a lot of games of that size now, but most of them they just sell it as digital only.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean with Warzone. That's my meme, you know. But they don't sell
Yeah,
that as a disc game.
I feel like there hasn't been that many multi-disc games because mainly it's for installation. One disc is an installation disc. The other is the actual play disc.
Dude, I haven't bought a disc in so long. I don't even remember the last time I seen a disc.
I haven't bought a disc since
2 days
I guess
ago.
Cold Steel 4, so that would be 2 weeks ago.
Oh my lord! I don't even know what a disc even looks like anymore.
I think the last one I bought was Madden 17.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I couldn't even.
I got cartridge and discs, man. It's like being back in the X64 PS1 days.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
The only ones I do buy, like I don't want to not have a disc drive. You know what I mean? But like,
Well, okay. I
so
will
if
say
I'm
this.
being honest, the only games I actually buy on discs are
cheaps, like
3-year-old
I
or
think-
6-month-old Madden once it's $20.
I still think putting yourself into a digital only space for a PS5 is a bad idea. Even if you're saving $100 theoretically at the start, you're locked into a storefront that does not generally put a lot of deals out versus, or you can just borrow a game from a friend. Or you
yeah,
can borrow a physical media, or you can buy physical media for cheap. Yeah, you're paying an extra $100 to start, but you have the option of getting better deals later.
yeah, true. That's a good point. Someone has
I would
background noise, by
also,
the way.
I would say though, it depends on how often you're doing those deals. Because I agree with your line of thinking there, but then I also realized, yeah, I don't think I've actually bought a game
I just don't want to be
since I bought
locked
the
into
PlayStation.
my main thing is I just don't want to be locked into a Sony only digital storefront.
Yeah, no, it makes
That's
sense.
also true. I think I would revisit this when I actually go to buy one because I have no interest in buying one right now. But I think part of it too is I definitely care less at the moment, and that is definitely also weighed by I have to realize there's a total bias for me because of COVID, so I'm not going looking through stores for discs.
To be fair, I mean, there's plenty of deals to be had on Amazon and stuff. So,
True, but like I
like,
I
not
don't know.
immediately.
I've
You're
never
not
been
gonna
that.
see. You're not
I've
gonna
never
see
gotten the
immediate
point of
deals
that.
because
That's true, but for
system's
me, I
washed.
would if I was buying a game for release, I'm assuming there's not going to be deals for it. And my other argument against Amazon that like I don't get the buying games off Amazon personally, but that's just me. Just because it's like, okay, if I'm gonna spend $60 right now, I I'll just download it and play the game the same day instead of having to wait 2 days for it.
Yeah,
that's
that's
if you're
what
that's if you're buying. I mean, that's if you're buying the physical game right now. I'm talking about deals.
Yeah. No, right,
And
right,
that's the thing
right,
is
right.
when the system's so fresh and
And
new, like that point doesn't matter. But like in a year from now, next Black Friday, maybe you see Spider-Man for $20 off.
no, that's I agree with that. I'm just saying, like I would also say I would ask. You have to ask yourself how much do you actually do that? How much do you actually go for physical deals and stuff like that? Is what I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a personal question
I
up to
would
each consumer.
right. I personally would pay the extra $100 just for the option, but I'm also gonna sit here and realize I probably haven't done that in 2 or 3 years. So if you can't afford to do that option, you're probably actually gonna be fine.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
interest in going to
Especially, I
game
mean, I'm
stores.
also a person that like has no qualms about going to my local library that has video games that you can just check out.
Yeah.
Like you can just borrow them for up to 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean,
usually
I don't know if they have PS5 games yet, but they generally have like the newest releases like within a week that they come out.
really.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
my
dope, then.
library is very nice.
That's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, that's
If I could
cool.
do that with Cyber, hell yeah, dude.
I would do it for Pokemon when I was just harvesting Pokemon to trade.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I would go in, grab all the Pokemon
Yeah.
games that kids would play, and then return, and I'd be like, "Oh, thanks for all your legendaries.
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
steal them and
stockpile
then
them, and then just use them as trade bait later in my copy."
that's hilarious.
Yeah, every couple months I would go in and just harvest Pokemon.
Yeah, I wonder I usually if I'm looking to buy a game if it's new, I'm probably going to get it on release. And then like the few games that I'll buy later are usually just PC games. I get them on like a Steam sale or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Steam or
that's what kills
Fanatical.
it. Yeah, that's what kills it. Most of it for me is I'm usually just gonna wait for a Steam sale of anything rather than a disc game. But
I
that's also
I
that's me. Of I'm a computer gamer
Yeah.
first,
Right.
console.
When it comes to
second.
PC and Steam, I definitely keep an eye out on Fanatical's site. I don't know if you guys have used them,
No.
but like I
Nah.
got Guilty Gear Accent Core.
What is it,
Guilty
like a
Gear XX Accent
GOG or
Core.
like a CD key site?
Yeah, it's an older game that still goes for like $20 on Steam. I got it for $3 on Fanatical. You just get a code, you redeem on Steam.
Yeah.
Because Guilty Gear Accent just they're doing a test of rollback netcode. The Darksys is doing rollback netcode for it, which seems to be a test for the new rollback that they're doing for Strive. And I was like, for $3, I'll try out their rollback netcode for $3.
Yeah.
And it works really well, which gives me hope for Strive to have good netcode.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I usually rock those games out on PC. But I'd imagine if you were a console gamer, yeah, you might want to wait for the disc if you are
Yeah. Like if
grabbing
you're
those
gonna wait
sales
for
all the time.
games, odds are you're gonna get a good deal on like Spider-Man or Demon Souls way before they make that a good deal on the PlayStation storefront.
Let's keep an eye on that. I'm actually interested on that. Let's see if because I would imagine Sony would want people to use their storefront more.
Oh, absolutely. They get more money from it.
So I'm wondering if they'll actually give more incentives in sales and deals than like a GameStop or an Amazon. So let's try to keep an eye on that. I'd be
Probably
interested
not.
in that.
I'm guessing no.
That's the thing is, if they
They
sell
know you're
enough
gonna be
digital
locked in.
versions, then you're locked in. They have no real reason to throw. You're already locked in. It's the people that buy the disk drive versions that they need to convince to use their storefront.
Yeah.
And the odds are, if you're buying a disc version of the console, they already know you don't really want to be locked in. That's kind of why you didn't buy it.
Well,
I'm
Yeah,
curious to
yes
see
and
because
no,
like you
yeah.
can argue that like you can kind of argue the same for like Game Pass, right? You can kind of make the argument like, they want you to use Game Pass, so why wouldn't they just lock you into some sort of only Xbox?
Games Pass is also interesting because like they've come out and said in the past how they just want Games Pass to be on everything.
Yeah, but
yes,
that's an
and I want it to be on
economical.
everything too.
And that's more of like an economical. That's what I'm wondering. Like maybe the margins that they get on the Sony store would outweigh. So maybe they will give more deals on it. That is something to keep an eye on, as opposed to Amazon that has to
wasn't-
hold inventory. They have to pay someone to stock that inventory and ship that inventory. I'd imagine they'd be less likely to give sales than somewhere where it's just a digital. Hey, we don't even care if there's no overhead on this object. We have huge margins on it because we own this store, so let's just keep putting it
I
out for
don't remember
$5.
PS4 having that many great deals. Like you would find some good, like some decent ones for like
They had
$15
deals a lot.
off.
They had a few deals. I mean, from what I remember,
They were deals, but they were never as big as you could get them elsewhere.
Yeah,
True, but I
They would
would
just never
also-
match them.
They would get close though. They would usually be very close in my from what I
they would
remember.
like the PS Plus free games. Those were nice. Like
I
like
I've
those, but
sure I haven't gotten NHL for $20 on them, but I've gotten NHL for 25 on digital. So
I mean that's a game I would buy digital anyway because let's be honest, it's useless as a disc. There's no value in that disc whatsoever. It's a sports game.
yeah, it's out of commission after a year.
No, true.
All right,
But, I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely some I would consider, but
I know I'm not. I know I'm looking at the digital version because it's smaller mainly.
I would,
That PS5 is fucking
would probably
huge.
also consider paying the extra to go digital just because of the size. Yeah, and also 'cause I'm probably
you mean
gonna buy
paying
both.
less to go digital.
yeah. I'd pay less just for the fucking size.
Yeah, like right now, if you were to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake on
Oh, you can
PlayStation
definitely
Store,
say it's
$60
way more expensive.
You can get it for 48 on Amazon right now.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
not
I
bad.
don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
But there's definitely the size to consider, but then there's also they do at least do sales enough, but not as often as you would actually have options for. And I
Yeah.
would also what I was trying to remember is they still go on sale way more often and way cheaper than Nintendo ever will. So
Oh, absolutely. That is without a
That's
doubt,
like-
they're the worst.
Nintendo's the worst, so I wish they had more options.
They are. It's a Black Friday is like your time to buy Nintendo games if you want them for a decent price.
Oh yeah, and how it's Black Friday all month long now apparently.
Hell yeah, baby!
Apparently.
I'll dig it.
But I will never lock myself into the Nintendo storefront. That's for sure.
All right. So Sony's Jim Ryan won't confirm whether God of War Ragnarok is cross-gen, which probably means it's not. I would assume so. Though
Yeah,
they
that's what
have
I'm
been
leaning
working
towards.
on this right after God of War. I do know that.
And they did say that Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be on PS4, the new one.
Jerry, you have some background noise going on, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they did. They've mentioned before that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is going to be a PS4 game as well as a PS5 game. I just don't know where the development cycles of these two games line up. So if this one is, they could have been doing Horizon Zero Dawn 2 for years now.
Right.
Since I don't think Guerrilla works on anything else.
Yeah. And it's
But,
also like Horizon should be out way before the next God of War, I think.
I would hope so.
So-
Especially, if it's going to be on PS4 as well, since they've already said that I believe they're looking at a 2 to 3 year span of time from the release of PS5 to where they pretty much end supporting PS4,
Yeah. I kind of hope God of
which
War.
is normal.
I kind of hope God of War isn't on PS4. I kind of want it to be a PS5 exclusive. Just focus on that machine and optimizing it, and that's it.
Yeah. Current gen is a thing now where it's like, I mean, that's the reason why Cyberpunk has been delayed so much, they said, is because of current gen hardware.
Yeah, I mean, look at Valhalla and look at Watch Dogs. Like they're even Black Ops. They're all a mess right now in terms of optimization on PC and cons. They're just it's a lot. It's a lot for them to put resources towards. And I kind of was just like, I would
Yeah, if
pick. I
God of
would
War is
honestly
not
really
coming-
pick.
I'd say if God of War is not coming till 2022, which I don't see this being a 2021 game. Put it just PS5 only at this point. Just focus on developing it to run really well on PS5.
And it sucks if you can't afford a new console. Like that does suck. But you might just have to
2022
wait,
will be
honestly.
2 years after release. Well, I mean, if it depends on what time of the year it comes out, but still, if it comes out early, it's a year and a half.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's like honestly, you might just have to wait. If you can't afford a PS5 when the game comes out, you might just have to wait. Because I would rather be a much more refined and optimized version. Because these are games that these are going to be massive fucking game changing titles.
The first titles that are going to be mainly console exclusive that are really like, I'm not counting Demon Souls that much because it's a remake, but I'm talking like Final Fantasy 16. I'm talking God of War, Ragnarok. Whenever the next Spider-Man comes out, not Miles, but like the actual like sequel, like Spider-Man 2, those are going to be the games that I want to see them take as much advantage of the new hardware as possible.
And this also brings up the $70 titles now. So the titles are $70.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Jim Ryan doubled down on his belief that a $70 price tag for Sony's first-party titles is fair. We have already seen this price point put to use within the release of PS5 launch title Demon Souls.
Microsoft also came out and said that they support the $70 price tag. So that's where we're at. That's what it is.
Yeah, at least it's not higher than that. At least it's not higher than that.
$70 plus all your DLC and all your microtransactions. So
yeah, I honestly, like where gaming is at right now is so fucking amazing. It doesn't even matter to me. Like, I think it's just like like fucking Last of Us is so groundbreaking. It's such a groundbreaking game that I'm just like $70 is worth it for what you got out of that title. I'm gonna imagine that fucking Demon Souls and God of War and Spider-Man, like these big first party titles, are all gonna be similar because you're always gonna have those fucking free to plays and you're always gonna have the cheaper games. You're never gonna only have like a $70 price point for titles. So, I'm happy paying whatever they want for if they can put more money and more resources and more manpower into these games. So they're really groundbreaking stuff. All right. Xbox exec says Bethesda games should be first or better or best on Xbox. What does that mean? First or better or best? Xbox executive says future Bethesda titles should be first or better or best on Xbox. Oh, I'm imagining first instead of PS5, better than on PS5, or best, I guess, than PS5.
It'll either run like better on Xbox than PS5.
It's just why?
Or best
They're
on
the same
Xbox
architecture.
than PC or whatever.
They're the same
But
hardware.
definitely first. They essentially bought Bethesda, so they're going to be timed exclusives.
Yeah, you think they're going to be timed exclusives?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think some of them are going to be exclusives.
I think your Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be a timed exclusive.
I mean, they would be crazy to not make it exclusive, but well, I guess if they own the hardware.
Do you want to play it first? Then you got to play it on Xbox.
Yeah. True.
Tough luck.
True. No.
And then by knowing them, they'll also put it on PC first as well. They'll leave PS5 in the complete dust on that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Now, I will say, I'm curious to see if they will run better on Xbox. From what we're seeing, like, the Xbox is doing a little bit better in terms of performance than the PS5. It's not a massive difference, but it is performing.
Just don't vape into it.
Yeah, don't, or do, and we'll look how cool it looks.
Yeah, it looks like it's on fire. And
Dude, oh my,
fake
that
tweet it.
stuff was so dumb.
I know it was.
Don't vape
When
in your
when
Xbox, man.
when Microsoft Twitter had to actually make an official tweet saying, "Please don't vape into your Xbox,"
Yeah.
and they even captioned it, "We hate that we have to say this."
Yeah. And then Twitch, music-related copyright claims in Twitch, DMCA's are going out. Twitch basically came out and said, we are working with the record companies, but don't expect anything to come of it. And we're working on tools to help you, but also don't expect any
This
tools
is a
to
PR
come.
nightmare. It's
It
a
Yeah.
is
PR
because
nightmare.
they've already been banning like some bigger people too.
Oh, they have been?
Voy Boy got banned.
Oh,
Wow.
the content claims are even better now. It's unautomated systems, of course. Somebody had a content claim on their channel for a police siren
Yep.
sound effect.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
From a
yeah.
game from Persona 5.
From Persona 5. Somebody else had. I'm like, when does the copyright claim that your breathing is now copyright claimed?
Well, if
It's just
if
trash.
Sony made a movie that owned a breathing sound effect, and if your breathing was similar to that sound effects, then they
That's
could
so
copyright claim that
awful.
for sure. It's a
Don't get me
nightmare.
wrong. The DMCA is a completely outdated piece of legislature that was.
But no one
enacted
wants
in
to fight it.
1999.
They don't want to fight
Because
it
it-
because they're not going to
Because
win.
the record companies have used it to keep spewing their trash.
Yeah, it's a disaster, and honestly, these record companies are. Oh man,
The
They're
RIAA
the
can
worst,
suck
dude.
it.
They're-
They're fucking awful.
they're so bad, and like even where the money is going to these artists, it's like everything about the music industry is so fucked right now.
And don't mind you that Twitch took multiple weeks to even acknowledge any of this stuff. They kept saying, "Yeah, we dropped the ball." Usually, Twitch's response when shit goes down is, "We dropped the ball. Forgive us." It's like the South Park gif. I'm
They're
sorry.
rubbing the nipples.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's like-
Twitch's PR has 2020 has been a nightmare year for Twitch's PR.
And I'm gonna defend Twitch here for a second. It's like, of course this was going to happen, and they can't really do anything about. Like, what exactly can you do about it other than pay millions and millions of dollars to every copyright claim that comes your way from this industry? It's kind of a tough situation.
It is, but it also isn't because they are still at fault in some aspects.
Oh, they
because
are. They
never,
are absolutely
Well,
at fault.
they never made their rules clear enough of what you can and cannot do, and then they spent 2 years just muting things instead of actually really making their algorithm better
you
and
see their
actually putting out
response?
things as a response. So now it's
Did
just
you see
delete
the
it.
response to somebody asking about like games that have licensed music in them? They essentially told him to
Oh, don't play
check
game.
the
Don't play
EULA
music. Yeah.
or mute your game.
Well, I mean, honestly, what's gonna happen? I mean,
They're just throwing the user base under the bus to protect themselves.
what's gonna happen is these games are not gonna be using these licensed. If this becomes that big of an issue, I think games like use Grand Theft Auto with like the radio. I don't think
Tony
that's
Hawk.
gonna happen anymore. I think they're gonna put like the
Call of
fucking-
Duty right now has copyrighted music in it.
Yeah, like I think they're gonna just start getting rid of it, and just if it becomes that much of a problem, because streaming is not going anywhere.
I'm going to tie in the thing we said a couple weeks ago about paying companies to stream games for licenses. Wait until they start charging to stream the content songs. You pay $10 extra to stream that game with the music on it because you've paid the license.
That I could see happening before paying to stream the games, but that's
Yeah.
just because that's welcome to the music industry. They're fucking animals. But
Yeah, and you kind of
the
do
co-
that already now for like Epidemic and what was the other
Right.
one, Monster Cat.
like Monster Cat's pretty awesome that you can link it now fully, which that's always been a great service for $5. But even still, then like Twitch is weird because I've enjoyed streaming on Twitch, but I'm also like considering, hey, do I just say fuck Twitch and just stream on YouTube?
And then YouTube has its own fucking disaster. You know,
It does. Well, no, it does, but YouTube's been dealing with this problem for 10 years and they
Yeah.
actually have experience and they actually
have an algorithm.
have an algorithm but the way it works isn't your channel's just gone.
Right.
You'll lose revenue for that video. Twitch doesn't have that service. They're just, you get caught 3 times, your account's gone.
Yeah.
You're just deleted.
Yeah, if you're streaming on Twitch, do not stream any music whatsoever. It's just not worth the risk. At least with YouTube. I mean, at the very least, you might get a claim and they might take the video down. But
right, but you still have to be smart on YouTube. But you can at least challenge a claim,
right,
etc. You can force it to actually be reviewed. Twitch right now is literally just a black hole of like, they're not even telling you why you're getting banned.
Yeah. So I guess the muting thing wasn't enough for, I guess, the record companies. So I thought that was a pretty smart implementation.
Right, but that was just the stopgap, and they never did anything past that they needed to, basically.
I wonder why the record companies would have an issue with that. Or I wonder if Twitch can challenge that. Because
I mean, dude, it's the fucking record.
Oh, I guess I imagine
expect?
because if you're streaming it, then at one point it was live, right? That's kind of the point that they make. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it's rough. You know, I know when I record gameplay, I've been doing this for a few months now. I turn all the music off anyway, just because it's distracting in a video when you're editing it. The music doesn't line up. I'm imagining that's going to become more prevalent. And then, you know, you're going to start to see a lot more of these like paid content free or copyright free music services pop up, and we'll see what Twitch does. Hopefully, like it sucks that they're banning people. I mean, that's pretty insane. You would think that they would go to bat for some of these creators, but I guess not.
Especially like
I guess Amazon just doesn't give a shit. They're just like, nah, just get rid of it. Who gives a fuck? It doesn't make money. Twitch doesn't make them any money.
True, but like some of them, especially that are a little bit bigger, and then also like that they definitely make money off of and lose money off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of wild to me.
Yeah, you would think because it's a great platform.
And it's more wild to me that like you don't get told why. You don't get linked to the clip that you got banned for.
Yeah.
Or what you did. You just get a shadow ban basically, and then they'll just say DMCA. That's not how DMCAs work legally. You have to show the proof.
Yeah. And it's only going to get worse when you get like what happens with YouTube with like the smaller like scammers that come along and start claiming things and stealing revenue. I guess you can't really do that on Twitch because you can't really steal revenue in that way, or can you?
Well, right, but that's the worry is I think you could still make the claim though. You won't get the revenue for it, but you can still make the claim. But then you have at least with YouTube, you have a
challenge. Yeah.
A challenge. You know, you can argue that no, I was doing this illegally or blah blah blah, etc.
Someone says
there's nothing.
Edward says this truly might be the end of Twitch. Twitch stores all videos anyone streams or makes their own public server, and even if you delete all your clips and VODs, they're still in the storage. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this will be the end of Twitch, but this is definitely going to mark a huge change in how they go about licensed content. Which is a problem on Twitch. Like, I'm not gonna lie either and say it's not a problem. Like, I see people like streaming movies and watching TV shows on Twitch, and it's just you can't.
I mean, that's what the current content scanner they have, the current automated system they have is. It's a leftover from Justin.tv, which is what they used when people were trying to stream TV shows and movies.
Yeah, like you can watch like pay-per-view events live on Twitch. You just you have to be in the groups that create the accounts to make them. But like that's not, you can't do that. Obviously, it's definitely illegal.
I mean, Twitch has been having struggles this year with ad revenue, with the DMCA issues. The fact of the matter is, it does not make a lot of money for Amazon. I think it might actually lose money for Amazon.
They lose money.
Yeah,
makes them nothing.
So I wonder at what point does Amazon just view this as a lost cause?
No, I don't think they will.
That's the worry.
With the Luma coming out, I think they'll go up to bat, but I think they're just gonna say it's just gonna be a lot more strict. Hey, if there's music and it's claimed, then you can possibly get your channel pinged off, and they're not gonna give that much of a shit about it, you know?
Yeah, and it feels like we're at that point now where it's like, I don't know, like synonymous, like anything that's hosted video is like YouTube, like searching anything online is Googling it. It almost feels like anything live streamed these days is Twitch.
Yeah.
It's hard to make a competitor for it. Like Mixer, That shit bombed.
And like a platform that 24/7 scans all of the live content for any sort of sound effects or any sort of music is pretty difficult to build, I imagine. And that's kind of the position that they're in. It's like, how do you even tackle this issue without it turning into something like this anyway? Because YouTube doesn't really have that on the live platform. It's only once it turns into a VOD, then there's that claiming process.
Well, they did say that the live takedown feature is being worked on.
Yeah.
That will take down channels that are live.
Yeah, that's gonna get messy, but at least that will have.
I'm just saying,
I guess takedowns is a different issue.
I love listening to my favorite top popular music when I put on a random stream at the 2-hour and 54-minute mark.
Yeah.
That's how I like to listen to my music.
All right. Jerry, you still have that background noise. I don't know what's going on. It sounds like a fan almost. All right, that's it for gaming. We have some tech to get into here. I do want to make note. I got the new iPhone 12 Max in here, the big boy. Oh, I don't have my other iPhone to compare it. The square edges, baby. I got the white version. I'm very happy with it. I got it for $11 a month, which is pretty cool. And yeah, this is the final revision of the iPhone and the current state of the iPhone.
Kind of wild that you got that for $11 a month.
Yeah, man. Sprint has been pretty killer. I'm not gonna lie. At least in Philly, it's.
What's Sprint?
What do you mean? Just Sprint. Whatever Sprint is now. It's Sprint T-Mobile or something.
T-Mobile. Yeah, I was saying no. T-Mobile bought them. That was the joke.
Yeah.
There is no Sprint. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty much
was a Sprint.
T-Mobile. And the 5G has been great. It's been fucking quick. Everything about this one's nice. And I will say the cameras from the 10S are a huge jump in performance. The video on this phone is excellent. It's really cool to be able to shoot like actual video with bokeh and good motion blur and good motion compression. And it looks like an RX 100. That's a camera I no longer need now. So I've been pretty happy with it. The size, I will say, the size is like, it's not that much bigger than a 10S, and you get the better screen, but that also goes the other way as well, where it's like, it's not that much smaller than a 10S, and you also gain that easier one-handed use of the 10S. So it can kind of go both ways. So I'm kind of stuck. I wish that they would take these cameras and just put them.
10S?
I think it was 5.7. I think.
And what's that one?
I think it's 6.3, if I'm not mistaken. Let me Google that.
I was gonna say, isn't there one that's 6.1? Because if there's one that's 6.1, that's probably.
I think the new Pro is 6.1.
Yeah, so probably by the regular Pro if it's 6.1, because that's the same size as the XR.
Yeah, so it says 12 Max Pro is a 6.7 inch, and then let's see the 12
it's huge.
Pro.
It's a phablet. What's the regular?
And
Pro?
the 11 or the 12 Pro 11 Pro screen. Hold on a second. I can't. This doesn't help me here. 6.1. Yeah, 6.1.
Yeah, I would just buy the regular Pro. It's the same size as the XR, which was the original big phone.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same size essentially what the 10S was. And it's a great size. I mean, it's a really nice size. I will say.
Yeah, I don't want to go phablet bigger than that.
It's nice to have a fucking gigantic screen, like especially this screen. But now I'm like
the 6.1's already pretty fucking big.
Yeah, and it is a nice screen. But I'm also like, damn, I really want to go see the Mini. I really want to play with the Mini and see what the Mini's like. Because then I think I would be more torn between the Max or the Mini. Do I want like that ultra portability or do I want the giant screen? Now, if they had the same cameras that were in the 12 Pro, I probably would have opted for that version.
Same.
But where we're at right now, I think the 12 Pro Max is pretty legit. And it's not that much bigger.
If T-Mobile can hook me up with a regular Pro for $11, I'll buy one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely see if there's like...
I probably might wait because I'm going to buy other stuff first.
There's a lot of stuff to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the upgrade
like
stuff,
3
it's really...
computers.
Yeah, true.
And a camera still.
It's true. There's a lot of shit right now. Which is why this was nice. Like, I think it was like, originally it's like $30, but with the trade-in, that obviously brings that down.
The Pro, if you buy it from Apple's like $45.
Oh yeah, $45.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like 11. It's 11. It comes out to $11 a month for I think 2 years, and then I get another upgrade. And I think my last one was also $11 a month, so it's just like whatever their upgrade plan is. So it's pretty nice. But I'm very happy with it. It's fucking extremely quick. It's nice to get those phone upgrades. But at the end of the day, it is still just a phone. Now onto the big news here. The Apple M1. I put out a video yesterday, by the way, if you want to go check it out on the channel. Apple M1 early benchmark seem impressive, where I talk about how this dude was editing HEVC 8K IPB footage on his Apple MacBook 13-inch Pro, and it was doing just fine.
Now, did you cover anything more than just the weird Weibo leaks though?
No, that was the only thing that I saw before I went to bed.
Okay.
Well,
I would add that disclaimer that this is just Chinese Facebook, someone on Chinese Facebook,
yes,
saying they did this.
Now, it seems to line up with a lot of the performance that we're seeing from other benchmarks, which are very impressive,
and they're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm super impressed by the Air. I mean, they're scoring it at 9.5 on the Verge, like nearly a 10.
It is pretty impressive what this chip is. I'm not going out as far as I've seen other people go, but it's a very good chip. It's a really impressive chip.
Yeah,
it's just not the greatest chip ever made, and I've seen people say that, and that irks the shit out of me because it's not.
What would you claim the greatest chip ever made? What would earn that title?
I don't know yet, but the fact it's really good, but you're stuck to its graphics power, which is decent. It's really good for integrated, but it's still only decent.
Yeah.
At best. And even outside of that, okay, so it pretty much can go toe to toe with the new Ryzen's in single core, and then it gets slapped in multi-core.
Yeah, I mean, it does pretty well in multi-core, but
it's good. It's
not
as good as an i7 from 2 years ago, which for a laptop's really fucking good.
Yeah, actually,
but to call it it's been a little overhyped is all I'm trying to say. It's really impressive. It's a really, really great chip, especially for laptops. But it isn't I'm seeing people go oh yeah, it's better than Intel. No shit, my mom's better than Intel at this point. But comparing it to current desktop stuff that's also been coming out, it's still really good. It's still a really good laptop chip.
But that's kind of what I think is impressive about it, is that it's a 10-watt chip.
It is impressive.
Doesn't even seem like it needs a fucking fan, and it's competing with desktop level, 45-watt chips, which is it's pretty wild.
Depending on the workload. That's the side point. It's fantastic for single core performance and single thread performance. It's as competitive as the new Ryzen's. They're all fucking phenomenal there. But for multi-threaded, if you were gonna sit there and go, yeah, I want to work in Blender, this isn't the chip for you, unless you're on a budget. Does that make sense?
I am curious to know too.
This chip basically is the Ryzen 6 core desktop chip, that's a really fucking good laptop chip.
Yeah, and the graphics are around a 1050 Ti, 1060 in terms of performance,
which is also decent.
Yeah, and then you add that on top of what they're doing with the optimization, and you get a laptop that runs 18 to 15 hours. That's pretty fucking cool.
It's really cool, and it's really impressive. I'm trying to just I don't know. I've just been a little bit down on it, mostly because of Apple fanboys going it's the greatest thing ever. It's not, but I don't want to go too far because it is really good. For a laptop chip, it's the best laptop chip. I will say that. It is really fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. Now, the one thing that I want to see.
Memory. I'm worried about memory because it has to be soldered on because it's a system on a chip, and I am worried. Mac does a lot better at using less memory, but as we start getting more third-party apps, I am a little worried about that.
Well, they were showing benchmarks where Chrome was the only thing that sucked on it, is because it's just drawing so much of the memory. It's just taking all the RAM. Now it's not optimized for it, but it is a fucking.
But there's only so much you can optimize a browser like that. It's going to be a memory hog.
Yeah. I wouldn't
And
even. I
that's
wouldn't even think about Chrome if you're gonna use this chip because Safari is so good on this chip.
Safari is really good, but Chrome is the example though. Is like there's gonna start being more of those apps that you just use
Yeah.
that aren't going to be Apple levels of precision. Because that's what I've been waiting for, and I want one to start coding with. Is like, how's Discord gonna run on this when you have Discord and Safari open and your all my coding stuff? You know what I mean? Like, that is my biggest worry with these is the fact you can only get 16 gigs of RAM in 2020s. Even as good as Apple's optimization is, long term that does scare me, especially with how expensive memory upgrades are for this thing. I am thinking about buying as cheap as possible and then just upgrading it in 2 years once they've fixed it.
Well, that's what I wonder too.
I don't know if I do worry about this first initial series actually lasting as long as your previous MacBook.
Oh no,
If that
I
makes
wouldn't
sense.
expect that. I wouldn't expect that. Yeah, that's
Like,
the
I'm saying
problem with
it's
this
gonna
chip.
run fine for now, but like that's the bit my biggest worry is like, okay, you can only get 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. Like, this is going to be a great computer for 2 years, but when I think of a MacBook, I want a great computer for 6.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that at least this specific M1 version is probably the best bet if you're looking for something to hold on that long.
Yeah.
But when I look at like the laptop that I have now and the fact that it beats it in performance on all areas of performance, and you can get that in an Air.
Did you buy the new 16?
Yeah, the new 16-inch. I think
Oh,
the
no,
only
this-
thing
the
that it
new
doesn't
6
beat it is graphics
graphics.
performance. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's really like
anything graphics, your 16's gonna crush it.
no, it's actually from the benchmarks they're pretty close. Like it beats it, but it's pretty close. It's not enough.
I've seen like Cinebench, and Cinebench it's still, I want to call it close.
I mean,
It's still a good like 40%.
I think Cinebench is a CPU though, right?
No, you can do Cinebench for graphics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was
Let me see if I can't find any of the like the comparison benchmarks. Let me see if I
like
can find them.
first the 16 with the best graphics model. No, it wasn't that close, and that is also a bummer. Because that's my challenge and my worry with Apple switching to this new stuff is they got to really start working on GPU performance. Because now they're going to be relying on themselves, and they've always been weak in GPU, and a lot of the power user stuff in current programming and computing's been switching away from CPU.
It's all
to
GPU now. It's basically all
Yeah.
GPU.
But so Apple's got to like fix that over their transition period,
Yeah.
and they can. I just that's I'm much more worried about that long term than if their CPU is going to be good enough, because their CPU is obviously good enough.
Yeah. So here on Apple Insider's benchmarks, it has the Cinebench single beating out every Apple product that has been out, and
Well, yeah.
then on the multi-core, losing out to the i9 16-inch and the Mac Pro.
The ones I saw
I
for
don't see any
multi-core was
graphics ones,
it's
though.
very similar to the i7, the 8th gen i7,
Yeah.
the 8-core 16 thread. It was basically the same as that.
Yeah, and then here is the here are some Affinity photo benchmarks. The combined GPU, single GPU. So you can see it's kind of trading with the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but the MacBook Pro does beat it out on like the rasterization. It looks like both single core and multi-core GPU performance, but it's really not. It's not that bad. Like, this is what I'm thinking, because with Apple's new M1, it seems like they're just trying to
Just
get away
depends on what you're
from
doing though.
yeah, it's like they're trying to do what their phones are, because their phones are like, you don't even measure performance the way that you measure other phones' performance, because it's just kind of like in a class of its own. They measure it more like, oh, does it edit 4K video? Does it can you edit in Logic and just do whatever you need to do in Logic? Can you just dump
Yeah.
a shit ton of files in there, and are you just gonna be able to get your work done? Can you throw the AutoCAD on there? It's just gonna run. It seems like it's less about, the actual how much power can we give it, how much frames can you get it in these programs. And I like that thinking, but mainly in laptops, not so much in like a desktop sense, because I'm still thinking in the world of PC where it's like, I just want the most amount of power so I can have as much as I need from it. Where it's like, it seems like they're starting to really refine in, okay, how much do we need for Final Cut so you can edit 8K? This is what you need, this is what we have to do, and this should be able to do that. And I think that's pretty cool for like, that you can edit fucking 4K on an Ultrabook, which is something that is why I never thought about the Ultrabooks. You know what I mean? That's why I always went with the 16 inches, because you just couldn't do that on an Ultrabook and get the same battery life, you know?
It is better, but I'm thinking long term with this. Like for what the Ultrabook is, or like the Mac Mini, hell yeah, that's cool. But like the future of that, like in an iMac, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but I'm wondering,
because
like,
I'm finding graphics and it's like it's pretty good, but it's still worse than a 1650.
I'm just wondering
like,
if they could just throw more cores at it, you know, if they could just throw more GPUs at it, if they can just throw more CPU cores at it, throw more RAM at it, and then it just scale. Like that's what it seems like they're trying to do.
And that's the way ARM usually scales, is you just throw more at it.
Yeah.
So like that I do hope so, but I'm just saying that's my concern, that's my worry, and I think they got to do it.
I think the biggest concern is like, are you going to be able to put RAM in it? Are you going to be able to put any sort of like extra?
No, it's all soldered on.
Yeah, I mean, like, how is that even going to work in a desktop sense? Are they even going to be able to create another Mac Pro? You know, like, is that even going to? How does that even look? Like, what does a product like that even look like?
The Mac Pro's dead.
Yeah, so it's going to be for. And I don't mind that.
Basically, what they're doing is it's a Raspberry Pi.
And I don't even mind that if that scales in that way, right? If they can get to that level and it scales in that way. But it's hard to kind of break out of the mindset of like this PC where you have to buy the CPU, you buy the GPU, you buy the RAM, and you can always just scale up each and every component however you need it to work that way. So to me, it's like, it's difficult to even think outside of that realm. You know, how do you even is that even something that you would want to do?
Think of all of it like a laptop, and that you just cannot replace anything on.
Yeah, and I don't, like I'm saying, like I don't mind thinking that way. I'd have to see it first for me to even think about going in that realm. Because I'm like, to me right now, what excites me is like, as an Ultrabook, this is fucking sick that you can edit whatever you want. You can pretty much like any sort of like anything that you would do in design and editing, you can do it on an Ultrabook. And then they put the P3 display and you give you a nice battery. That's sick. Yeah. But like you're saying, like that long term, like
that's why I haven't bought one yet. Is the MacBook Air. I don't believe in the fanless idea, but if it's just a phone, basically, it should be okay. Yeah, and if it can actually do all of that, then maybe I'll spend the extra $200 for the P3 screen.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering. It's like, are they going to be able to do it in the iMac? Are they going to be able to do it in a?
I think they're going to have to really scale it up, and not so much the CPU, but the GPU. They're going to have to
just throw a shitload of cores at it.
Yeah, like they're just going to have to, I don't know if they can do that with the way their CPU is architected currently. Because it's taking up all of the space on that die, basically. So I don't know if they figured out a way to add a second die to it that could just be a GPU and be able to throw twice as many cores at it. I don't know. Because that's my worry, is like for laptops, no, they're great. But that iMac and that power user that they've always clung to having, like, I don't.
It's gonna be
your iMac's gonna suck.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the iMacs kind of already suck.
Yeah, but now they're going to be worse.
They kind of already suck.
That's the worry for me. Is like, okay, so now you can buy an iMac and it's going to have a graphics card in it that's worse than a 1650.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they have an answer for that. Because it doesn't seem, otherwise they would have released an iMac.
I assume they do, and I assume that answer is just add a shit ton of more GPU cores. I have to see them do it to understand the architecture, because I'm a software person, not a hardware person.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I wonder if that's even a scenario, or even if there's some sort of like, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. It's gonna get interesting. But these,
Because I think they could even make the die bigger. Because since it would be like the M2 chip or the M1X, and they could just increase the die size
yeah, and just
to
throw
just
more
add
just
GPU
cores on
cores.
there, and then you can
Right,
just give
because
it more
all
power.
we've seen here is the 8 core, and when they were originally talking about it, they were talking like they have a 12 and a 16.
Yeah.
So maybe this first round with the laptops and Mac Mini stuff's just the small 8s, and maybe they have a M2 coming for the desktop stuff that's 3 times the size.
And I'm wondering, like, how, I really want to know,
Especially
like,
with the desktop stuff. Also, I want to really see them stop the big little bullshit. I wanted them to do that in the Mini. Don't give me 4 big cores and 4 little cores for efficiency. I don't care about efficiency if it's plugged into my wall.
oh yeah,
Give me all big.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
for
let's go.
sure.
Just give me all the power. Don't give me any. I don't want efficiency if it's plugged into my wall personally.
Yeah, things are gonna get pretty interesting, and like just hearing the rumors of what Apple has next, like micro OLED LCDs, you know, the high refresh rate, like it's gearing up to be some pretty interesting stuff. And what makes it even more interesting is how Intel just has no answer for what
I know, Intel's
AMD
fucked, dude.
and for what Apple has just released. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do, man? Like,
They're trying to make 14 nanometer plus 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 plus.
yeah, man, it's crazy, man. They're so fucked. And I wonder, like, how do they even get in that position? How do they even let themselves get there? You know, is it's we've been talking about this for like 4 years now. This is not a new, like, it just came out of nowhere. Oh shit, Apple just dropped this. Oh shit, AMD just dropped this. This has been a slow encroachment on Intel space, and we've been saying like next year's the year that Intel is gonna be in trouble. Next year's the year. Well, now it's actually the year, and they're gonna release
And
another
we kept
14
delaying
nanometer.
it. Right, we kept delaying it too because it's Intel. Like, come on, they gotta eventually fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they haven't.
No. No, they just been going. Well, we shaved it a little bit this time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So yep, I'm gonna buy one of these. I'm gonna buy one of these over the phone for sure. And I don't know which one I'm gonna buy yet, but I might just buy as cheap as possible and then go big in 2 years once they've hopefully actually figured out all of these qualms we've been talking about.
Yeah,
Or
and
worries,
what I
guess,
do think
address
is
them.
interesting too is that it seems as if like a lot of the benchmarks, at least from what I've seen, have been the 16 gigabyte RAM versions. But I've also seen like that the RAM, like they're not even coming close to the amount of RAM. It was really just some of the Rosetta stuff. So like running the Chrome and I think running Premiere is where having that extra RAM would have helped you. But
Oh, definitely. I mean, dude, I started playing Minecraft again right now, and I'm using 12 gigs of RAM on Minecraft.
yeah, I'm
Which that's Minecraft. That's shitty Java coding for you. But like, I'm just saying, once we start, now that they're out, we're gonna actually start seeing my coding attempt where I didn't get an extra year with a development kit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're gonna start actually seeing all of the main apps people are going to use, or like shitty coded work apps that you're gonna be forced to use for your job, stuff like that, and that shit's gonna eat it.
What
Like,
what is
how much RAM does Zoom take? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
what is nice though is that it does seem like the Rosetta translation seems to be working pretty well for a lot of the apps that already are on there. So there's not too much of like that period of where it's like, oh fuck, like nothing works with this except Apple's native stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean I don't know how deep that like you said, like those weird work apps. Who the fuck knows how those get put
I
in?
mean, like, what? I'm curious. Let me-
Yeah, I have 64 gigs of RAM in my PC. Like I need 64 gigs of RAM. You know what I mean? So thinking about like this is what I mean about where Apple's M1 kind of throws me for a loop. It's like you have to kind of set yourself away from that PC rat race of power because it's just almost like a different type of thinking, at least
I
in the
mean,
laptop realm.
well, that's the worry though, is you do and you don't, because it is different, but at the same time, it's still ARM. The software is not that different.
Yeah.
That's my worry, especially with like the RAM and stuff. Like, sure, all of the Apple optimized stuff's going to be beautiful and it's Unix, so it'll usually run less. Oh, my Windows is crashing. This is great. But your main base program, 8 gigs ain't good enough in 2020.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're running Linux, if you're running Unix, Windows. Like Windows is obviously way worse. You need way more. But I still just have qualms about spending $1,000 and getting 8 gigs, and if you want more, it's $200.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to know what you think when you get one in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still excited. I'm like, for me, it shouldn't be that big of an issue just because for coding stuff, you don't need that much RAM. But I'm gonna use it as a editing box too. So like when I load up Final Cut, what's gonna happen? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Like when I load up Resolve, what's gonna happen?
I would just stick with Final Cut at this point. But Resolve
No, but
actually
I
looks
love
pretty
Resolve.
good too.
I'm gonna use Resolve too, but like Resolve's favorite thing to do is instantly load your project into RAM because RAM is faster than your hard drive.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so I have a 30 gigabyte 4K file. Like, are you gonna actually try to load this into RAM?
Yeah, just from like the early preliminary stuff. I mean, it seems to be the beta that they put out seems to be okay. It's not terrible. It's not up to Final Cut standards yet, but
Right. I just mean that's just some of my worries there of like some of these programs and stuff aren't it's gonna be fine. And it's gonna be fine for right now when there's nothing out. But in like 3 years,
yeah, I wouldn't
like
expect
the
to hold
phone
this
apps,
for
like
3
all
years.
of the phone Marzipan stuff, that's not gonna take a lot of RAM. But once more stuff starts coming to it, it like I don't know. And this is also because I'm sitting here as a power user. I have two different versions of Firefox open, one version of Chrome open right now, a game running. We're doing the podcast at the same time. I also have Zoom open. I have Discord open.
Yeah, you're gonna be yeah. But that's the
I'm,
other
I'm
thing too. It's
using
like
27 gigs of
oh,
memory right
by the
now.
way, they were able to open up LumaFusion, work on LumaFusion on the Mac, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I
Yeah.
might start using that a lot actually.
Yeah, a lot of that iPhone stuff translating over seems pretty interesting. I'm definitely
It
gonna. I'm
does.
probably gonna up or downgrade to the 13-inch Pro after I see what they do with the 16-inch, because I'm very curious to see what the 16-inch is. Hopefully, we see it sometime around March. But now, like that Ultrabook editing machine dream that I've been thinking about since the first fucking MacBook Air seems to finally be realized. And now with the battery performance that you get, that's what I am looking for in a laptop. Still, like the desktop space, it's just like I want a RTX 3080. I want a fucking Ryzen 9. I want 128 gigabytes of RAM. I want an entire NAS stack. I just don't see where Apple's gonna fit into that realm. But I mean, if they go this route where we have to like set yourself out of that rat race, it could be interesting. You could implore me to move over, and we'll see where the development, the app developers go and how they optimize for it. But for now, in the laptop world, I don't know what unless you're a gamer, doesn't seem like I would buy any other laptop currently other than a MacBook.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'd make that claim just yet, but I want to get my hands on it because it does seem like Rosetta works really well with it, but I'm never gonna. It's
Yeah,
still
but
just
18 hours of battery is really hard to give up.
It
just
is,
on that
but
alone.
it's still a risk when you don't, unless you know for sure your work program is going to run through Rosetta perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I
that's
guess
a hard
whatever.
thing
Yeah,
for
it
me to
depends what
say.
you do, I guess. Yeah.
Right. That's like a hard thing for me to say, like, yes, definitely buy it when it's 80% of the software is still being emulated. I can't say that's a grand idea to run out and buy it until you know for sure your whatever you're doing for your work is actually going to work properly.
Yeah. But
And that's
let
not
me
like
rephrase it.
that's
I
not an
know
Apple.
for
That's not an
my
Apple thing. It's the same thing why you shouldn't buy a Windows ARM laptop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll rephrase it. I'll say it differently. I don't see a reason why I would buy any other Windows laptop. Me personally, currently, because this is looking really, really impressive. And it was really like when I was looking at the 16-inch, I was thinking about like the Razers, right? Getting something that had like a lot of GPU horsepower, something that was just like a super fucking beast. But now this is just like, oh, can it edit 4K? Can it edit 8K? Can I just dump a bunch of shit into Lightroom? Can I, read on it and watch like 4K videos on it just fine? Like that's kind of the thinking that I'm in now. And then on top of that, you get that battery life and that ultra portability. That's kind of where my head is at for getting a laptop here on out. So this is really exciting to see from Apple because I don't think we were expecting this. You know what I mean?
I was expecting to be good. No, their phone CPUs have been strong. It's close to what I expected. It's a little better than I expected, actually. But
that's right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't think we were expecting what this release was. Like this was.
I wasn't expecting to be that strong single core. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, I mean this is a pretty legit. I mean,
it's competing with the new Ryzen stuff, which that's impressive as hell. It's a way.
I think I would have been blown away, like
if they just barely beat Intel,
frothing at the mouth if they
met Intel.
Well, I would know. I'm saying if they would have had some sort of GPU performance nearing like a 2060, then I would have been like, oh, it's just the fucking greatest thing ever made. It's just really that. It's like 1050 is like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I see them. They're running like Fortnite on high and native resolution, and it's running at 60 frames, and that's cool and all. But I would have liked to see like that, like nail in the coffin for whatever the AMD Radeon mobile chips are. Because then it's like, oh, wow, you're attacking on both fronts. Right now, it seems like they're really just attacking on the CPU side.
Yeah, and well, no, their GPU for integrated graphics is very, very, very good.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just nowhere. It's not there competing anywhere close yet, really, to
a dedicated GPU.
Dedicated solution,
but that's the problem is you can't put one on there. I don't think.
Right. Exactly. No, you can't. And that's my worry. But they got a couple years to actually fix that.
Yeah, we'll see if they just fucking say, hey, let's just make the die bigger and just you have a fucking chip that's like this guess, big, dude. Of fucking the size of a book on your iMac Pro.
That's the idea of ARM is you just keep fucking scaling it.
Yeah.
So like, it should work in theory. I think. Could be wrong, but as far as I understand it, that's the point of it is just keep scaling it larger.
Mm-hmm. And
fingers crossed. Hey, maybe you will get the 16-inch with the bigger chip, and it's 1080. I don't know.
Oh man, I would come. And I was gonna show you. So here is TSMC's stock price. So any of you bettors out there, you're trying to bet on TSMC. They seem to be doing pretty fucking well. And there you go. They're at 95. I had a little bit of a dip since Monday.
Oh, wait. That did launch? Oh, I'm out of the loop.
What?
Well, your next thing.
Oh, the Sony FX6?
Yeah.
It's out, baby. It is out.
Is it just A7S3?
I think it's $6,000, and it is a full-frame cinema... the $6,000 full-frame cinema camera from Sony. About, I'd say, almost double the price of a Sony A7S III. And from Gerald's video, it's pretty clear that it does pretty well in some respects, but also it's almost just like, why not just get an A7S III, to be honest? Because
what I was guessing is it's, from what I can see, this is what it sounds like. It's just the pro body version of an A7S III.
It kind of is.
Expecting it to be.
It kind of is.
Dude, that will sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
To be honest, like me, my money, I would just buy an A7S III. But if you need a pro body, like.
But this is the problem that they did. They only made it so the handle, because it's smaller. It's only like this big. The big problem that they made is that there's a top handle on it, and they made the XLR ports only on the top handle. So if you take the top handle off to make it that small body, you lose all inputs of audio, which is a pretty big flaw in the design.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, you still get like the 3.5 millimeter mic jack, I don't think that there's a headphone jack if you take that thing off. I don't think there's a headphone jack. Yeah, I don't think there's a headphone jack if we take the handle off. And there's definitely no XLR jacks. But
That's a little bit of a bummer, but still,
Yeah.
Pro Body A7S3.
What you
That's
do
what I
get
expected it
is,
to be, and it's a lot. I know a lot of people who wanted that.
and what you do get, you still get the dual native ISO,
Right.
which is now confirmed on the A7S3 because it's the same sensor. The dual native ISO is a little higher at 800 and then 800. And
And
then
it has ND. It has the ND.
and that's what I was gonna say.
external
The electronic ND, which
Yeah.
is so sick. I mean, it's basically like auto ISO except not ISO.
Yeah.
just
Okay.
fucking-
This is what people I know wanted. It's
Yeah.
not what I would buy, but for $6,000, I know a lot of people who wanted that.
Oh,
And to me,
another
that is very competitive against the
C70.
C70.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's full frame and then it has
Yeah.
all it's definitely competitive there. The other qualm about it, there's no 10-bit in long GOP, so only in the all-I codec you get the 10-bit, which I mean, I guess
okay.
some people might have an issue with that. Here's some highlight roll-off shots from Gerald. You can see it's odd, like you can't really tell, I guess, in this like pixelated version. Go watch his video. I'm sure you guys already have. But the roll-off also seems a little bit worse on the FX6 compared to the A7S3. So there is some tuning of the sensor that the A7S3 has done, which is actually beneficial to the FX6. But like you said, I mean, if you're looking for a cinema body with the NDs and the XLR inputs, you can spend $6,000. You get a full frame A7S3 cinema body, which is pretty sick.
Is pretty sick, but also a little bit of a bummer because I don't know. I do wish there was okay. Footage wise, it looks like there is a little bit more, but not a ton more. And I would have hoped there to be like a little bit more there, pushing it to be not just an A7S3.
Yeah. And I think honestly
that's a heavy price because like that would
is a
have
heavy
been the
price.
dream is buy an A7S3 as your B cam and then this
Right.
as your A cam.
Right.
But if they're the same camera, you either have to go up or down. There's that it makes that upgrade path a little weird to me.
Yeah. And this is kind of an interesting position for Sony because the A7S3 is so good
Yeah.
that it's kind of like, well, why would you ever get this over it?
I could buy two A7S3s for not much more than this.
Right. Or you buy an A7S3 and like some sort of XLR adapter for your camera and then
Which Sony makes.
yeah, I mean it's pretty rough position. I guess I mean honestly the ND, the electronic ND is really nice. Like it's really nice to have that, and he shows it in his video. Like you can't really tell the steps. There's no change in like the focus or anything. It's a perfect implementation of it. And then here Matty Hipoya had his like a little short video, and so does James Matthew. If you want to go see some footage, it looks nice. It looks nice.
It does like make me want to push farther though, which kind of sucks. Where it's like, okay, and if I were to go Sony now, it's like, oh, now I want an FX9
yeah.
and an A7S3 instead of an A7S3 and an FX6. You know what I mean?
And I'm wondering if that's kind of the reason they did that.
Probably.
I think
and
that's
also, I
the
mean,
reason they did that.
if this average drops to like $5,000, that's a really good entry cine cam.
Yeah. But it's just like, yeah, but you could also probably
it
get
also
that A7S3 for like $3,000 at the same time.
Sure, Sony kind of shot themselves with how good the A7S3 actually is.
They're in a good position. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if you are in the market for like a cinema camera, chances are you're in a production house that's gonna buy them. You know what I mean? So it's almost at the point where it's like you might as well just opt for the upgrade in the FX9 because you're gonna get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, but I might go A7S3 still. I don't know.
I probably would.
I'll talk to you about this later, but I have had an idea that I might start working towards for post-COVID.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be an off stream.
Yeah, and then the C70 should be released soon, so we'll start to see some stuff on the C70. Kai had his video out. He really enjoys it. I think he is gonna buy it and use it.
No, the C70 is great too.
Yeah.
I don't know which. This is kind of a bummer because this does push me into like, well, you can buy a C70 or an A7S3, and then it's like, maybe I'll just buy an A7S3 with the Ninja, and then you get all that beautiful 16-bit, 12-bit RAW.
Yeah.
Fucked.
The A7S3 is fucking badass.
Yeah. C70 is too. Especially with the they need to get more lenses working with that autofocus adapter. With that autofocus adapter, if you can slap that on an R as your B cam and then a C70 main cam and actually get them to be full frame, they're
the
good.
focal reducer, like the speed booster.
Right, the actual Canon speed booster that only works with 3 pieces of glass.
Yeah.
If
No,
they
it
keep
works
adding
with all
glass
the
to that.
RF lenses, I thought. No?
Oh no, the RF mount works with all the RF, but the EF.
Oh, it's EF. That's
RF.
right. I'm sorry.
Right.
It is EF. You're right.
That at launch only has 3 lenses that it works
Oh,
with.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Which
know
I mean,
that.
it's your Trinity, so that's most of it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, they got to keep pushing that because like it would be cool to have more wide options and other things.
Oh,
Or even prime
100%.
options.
100%.
Because then that's what I'm interested in, to see that battle of like, okay, do I go A7S3 or do I go FX6 versus C70 with a speed booster?
Yeah.
Because that's close enough to full frame that I personally don't care. I could see how like you might care because you really like that compression, but like,
It's
me,
close enough. It's close
I don't.
enough.
It's yeah. If you're at a 1.1 compression and crop, I don't give.
And
a
you
shit.
get the whole EF lens lineup.
right.
Eventually, right? Yeah, eventually. And the RF lens line. I mean, it's
Right. You get both.
yeah, it's a pretty there's so much good shit out right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like Sony's going nuts. Sony's killing it. Everyone's killing it. It's fucking cool to see, except Intel. Except Intel. They're the only ones not killing the game.
Dude, and then we got AMD graphics cards coming out in like 5 hours to see
Yeah.
how good they compete against Nvidia. Like everyone is killing it, but Intel.
Sorry, Intel. I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know if you guys need money. I can pitch in some money.
Yeah, honestly, I might low key actually consider buying Intel stocks because they're gonna keep going down and then buy on their low because they're Intel. They have to eventually come back.
Oh, that's a great. Let's look at their stock right now. Actually, let's see real quick.
They
That's
have
actually
to
a great
eventually come back. You know what I mean? But
How
they're
low are
they're
they
gonna keep
right now?
tanking for a while.
Yeah, maybe like a year of tanking, but then you want to get them at their bottom, and then you're gravy, dude. Because like you said, like there's no way they're just gonna like die. You know what I mean? That's just not gonna happen. Hold on, let's see real quick. Let's see Intel stock price.
Because even though AMD's way better and Apple's now way better,
Oh
there's
my
still
God.
so many Intel fanboys who are going to buy it no matter what that they're gonna come back. They're gonna be able to survive until they can actually compete again. Especially on server side.
They're
Even though
at,
they're getting demolished server side, but there's still a lot of. That's a long process.
honestly, Intel stock looks terrible. You might be able to scoop up their stock at like $35 in like the next 6 months, depending on how heavy they get pounded. Wow. Sorry, Intel, man. It's there. You guys are hurting. It looks like you guys are hurting. Look at this huge sell-off. When was this? This was October 20th. Huge sell-off. There was a huge sell-off on July 21st. Oof. Okay, well, this could be a good time to buy now, actually. That's all right. Yeah, this was the October 20th sell-off. Wow. They're really getting devalued. All right, well, that's it for the show. RIP Intel. Hopefully you guys can come out swinging after COVID or something, because it would be nice for you guys to join the tech party. Everyone else is going. Even Microsoft's doing excellent right now. Everyone's
consoles,
doing really
everything.
well. You know,
Both of the consoles are good enough that I'm probably gonna buy both for the first time ever.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I'm probably
Not anytime
going to.
soon.
I might do what I might do what you were saying you're gonna do, where you're gonna get the S model and then
Yeah.
the PS5. I think I might do the same thing.
I'm gonna buy the digital, probably. Yeah, I don't know which version of the PS5, but buy the PS5 to leave in the living room, and then I'm gonna buy the Series S with Game Pass and just leave it hooked up to my 1440p gaming monitor.
Yeah, that might be the way to go. Honestly,
Yeah,
let's hope we can get a fucking RTX in here before Christmas. I want to do some benches on those and
that would be nice.
start playing some fucking 4K gaming.
Or a 690,
6900
6900.
6900 XT, which is the 3090, right? Isn't that what they were saying?
Yeah, or the 3080, or the 6080, or the 6080 XT, or I really have to see these new AMD cards and what happens with a full red build, because I'm really leaning towards a full red build, because if I'm gonna buy a new GPU, I'm gonna buy a new CPU.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm
At this
thinking.
point.
I'm probably not going to buy a new CPU right now, but I mean,
I am, just because I'm still on first gen Ryzen, and if I were to, right now is the time for me to do.
oh
it.
yeah, but also
Especially
like
if I'm gonna buy a GPU, like it's just gonna get bottlenecked by the CPU. So I gotta do both.
I'm thinking around the 3080. That's where my price and that's where I'm at in my head, is the 3080. I've been thinking about it since it got released. But if the 6900 XT is anywhere close to the claims that they were making, then I might even just spend the extra couple $100 and go with that. Because I wasn't even thinking about the 3090. You know what I mean?
Right, but if you can get even close to it,
Yeah,
for a little bit more.
Like, it's really not that much more, and you're getting so much more extra performance out of it. Like,
And all the extra RAM.
oh my lord, dude.
That matters,
Yeah.
especially for video work. Like
Oh,
CUDA
hell
cores
yeah.
matter. It's crazy because CUDA cores matter, but then Nvidia's been trying to shaft everyone with like 8 gig cards.
Yeah, like 10 gig. They said they're not going to do any 12 gig 3080s.
Yeah, and then AMD's like, well, you could spend less money and get 16. That matters,
Yeah.
especially for longevity, because that's the other worry. Especially going back to RAM and games usage. Doom already, if you're playing 4K, Doom can already max out at about 13 gigs and 4K
Yeah.
of VRAM. So you're gonna buy a 3080, which is a 10 gig card for 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna work for right now, but in 2 years, if you're planning on using
Or
that
when
card for 4
Cyberpunk is
years-
released.
right? Like if you're planning on using that card for more than 2 years, 16 versus 10 is a big difference to think about.
Now, when did this 1080 come out? Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
4,
Was it really that long ago?
I think it's
Yeah.
about 3 or 4.
2017.
I mean, the original 1080 I think's been 4, and I think the 1080 Ti has been like 3.
Yeah. So I'm due for an upgrade. That's about as long as I would hold on to a GPU anyway.
Yeah,
And like you're saying,
I
I
mean-
think if you expect any longer than that, you probably want as much RAM as possible in your as much.
I mean,
VRAM.
even going that 3-4 years, I would probably. I'm saying anything over 2. Like if you're not gonna,
Dude, I
if you're
can't
not-
run these games on 1440.
right. But my argument is, unless you upgrade every generation, then consider the RAM,
Yeah.
because it's gonna start mattering. And that's my point is, like, you didn't upgrade to past Maxwell. You didn't buy a 20 series, so I'd buy the one with more RAM.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna buy the graphics card every generation, then it doesn't matter.
No,
buy the one for performance. But if you're gonna sit there for 4 years, like 10
Yeah.
gigs.
Yeah, I probably am gonna upgrade this GPU, and I probably won't upgrade for at least 2 years. Like that's usually when I start thinking about it. It really depends, like what the use case is. Like I think I might not even have to upgrade for another 4 years if I go with like the 3080 or the 6900, because I don't see myself editing more than 4K anytime soon. And then in terms of the games, like I don't expect playing anything more than 4K anytime soon. So hopefully like we're at that final area of 4K where we were at with 1080 a couple years ago, where it's just like any card can pretty much handle the 1080 and should be able to go. All right, so much good stuff. We just can't get any of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. What are you gonna do?
Until
I'll try. I'll keep trying,
a couple
guys.
of weeks, I'll probably buy at least the Apple stuff. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
hey, and at least Apple has their stock. Like, that's what Tim Cook is good for. He'll get his fucking... You'll get your products from Apple. You know, you can thank Tim Cook for that. All right, everyone. We're out of here. Thank you all for listening. Tune in every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you subscribe over on iTunes, or not iTunes anymore, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That's where it's uploaded. You can also head over to our website, nolife.digital. You can watch all our videos there. There's a little podcast tab. You can go there. There's little buttons to subscribe. All that good stuff. Thank you all for catching up with us. I also released a video yesterday if you want to go watch that. It's kind of dated now, but I wanted to put out something with the Apple stuff. But expect some more stuff coming soon. All right, peace.
Thanks, Mr. Apple.
I am Mr. Apple.